MC Hammer isn't someone you want to mess with, and Jay-Z found that out the hard way.
That goddamn MC Hammer, very serious about beef. Y'all laugh and y'all joke about Hammer. No. It was deep with and he used to what anybody who talked come to the Bay Area, they was in for it.
Sure, Hammer's flashy style and upbeat music gave him the image of a dance-loving, energetic personality with iconic parachute pants, but it fooled a lot of people, especially in the industry. Beneath the charm lies a man who demands respect and doesn't take disrespect lightly. Hammer's street credibility runs deeper than even industry heavyweights like Suge Knight, 50 Cent, or Diddy, each of whom has at some point acknowledged just how formidable he truly is.
Because he didn't fit the stereotype.
But MC Hammer came from the hood.
And was one of the most legit
and he was
street in the game.
Hammer put a hit out on him, and they had problems in LA.
Hammer was not to be.
Jay-Z used that memo, and Hammer, true to his reputation, didn't hesitate to remind him who still held weight in the streets. The drama unfolded in 2010, when Jay-Z dropped a verse on Kanye's track So Appalled. In it, he delivered a stinging jab at Hammer, referencing his infamous financial troubles in the 90s. Hammer went broke, so you know I'm more focused. / I lost 30 mil, so I spent another 30. / cause unlike Hammer, 30 million can't hurt me. Ouch. It was the kind of line that stopped everyone in their tracks. Jay had crossed a line, dragging Hammer's name over his past. A move that anyone familiar with Hammer's temperament would know is a bad idea. Hammer didn't just take offense, he retaliated in full force. First, he vented on Twitter, accusing Jay-Z of selling his soul, a rumor that had lingered in hip-hop circles but hit harder when coming from Hammer. But the real shock came when Hammer released a diss track and video titled, Better Run Run. The video was no ordinary clapback. It was a full-blown theatrical production. It depicted a Jay-Z lookalike being pursued through the woods by a devil-like figure, only for Hammer to appear at the end, symbolically baptizing the Jay-Z character in a lake. Hammer wasn't just responding. He was reclaiming the narrative with flair and dramatics that left a lasting impression. Suddenly, the tables had turned. Jay-Z, one of hip-hop's most untouchable icons, found himself on the defensive. Not long after, in an interview, Jay attempted to downplay the feud, suggesting that Hammer might have misunderstood the lyric. But by then, the damage was done, and Hammer had made it clear, disrespect comes with consequences, which
I said really great things about him. I said but you know, whatever it is what it is. He took it the wrong way. I didn't know it wasn't on the table for discussion. I just was, and I didn't know I said anything.
He even tried to smooth things over by speaking on the respect he had for Hammer, referencing moments from his book Decoded as proof. But the tension lingered. Jay's tone hinted at something deeper. Maybe just for a moment, he realized that MC Hammer wasn't someone to cross lightly. What's wild is that back in his prime, Hammer wasn't exactly known for a tough guy image. His flashy outfits, electrifying dance moves, and mainstream hits painted him as a pop-friendly rapper rather than a street-savvy heavyweight. Yet, even then, Hammer was far from a pushover. In 1994, Hammer made a bold pivot with his album, The Funky Headhunter, adopting a grittier, more aggressive persona. The shift left fans and critics scratching their heads. Some couldn't reconcile the parachute pants performer with this harder-edged style. But those who knew Hammer understood. Beneath the polished pop star exterior lay a man who commanded respect.
I was in the streets before Hammer, as far as like the music and stuff.
Yeah.
I was making records before Hammer.
Better known as MC Hammer, wasn't just the flashy performer with infectious energy. He was a man who commanded respect, on and off the stage. Some thought his 1994 shift to a grittier persona was an attempt to reinvent himself, but those who knew him personally understood Hammer's edge was always there. Behind the music and parachute pants was a fiercely loyal and street-smart individual who refused to let disrespect slide. Fans admired him not only for his talent, but for his authenticity and resilience. One Bay Area native praised Hammer's trailblazing impact, saying, "He brought excitement, showmanship, and mainstream diversity to hip-hop when it was taboo. To me, he was a hip-hop superhero." Hammer's ability to break boundaries while staying true to himself earned him a devoted following. Even within the industry, his toughness wasn't lost on fellow rappers. Redman in particular experienced Hammer's no-nonsense approach firsthand. In his debut album, What? The Album, Redman took shots at Hammer through a skit, calling him out in harsh terms. Hammer, however, wasn't the type to let such disrespect go unanswered. Years later, Redman recounted how Hammer confronted him during the final episode of Yo MTV Raps in 1994. Hammer approached him, firm but composed, and made his stance clear. "Red, I'ma tell you something. You young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me?" Redman, understanding the gravity of Hammer's words, responded to some of the earlier recordings, solemnly and calmly, bringing the whole raft of songs to the finish line. Yes, sir. Redman also shared another story about the fallout from his earlier diss. When he visited the Bay Area with EPMD, the group quickly realized Hammer's hometown was his stronghold. Redman described the tension. "We damn near had to bounce out of there. They weren't playing. We were almost boxed in." Despite their MTV encounter, Hammer showed respect for Redman's artistry, even shaking his hand after delivering his message. It was a testament to Hammer's complex character, a man who could assert dominance while still acknowledging talent. By the early 90s, Hammer was a force to be reckoned with. His 1990 album, Please Hammer Don't Hurt Him, sold a staggering 22 million copies, followed by 5 million more with Too Legit to Quit. Yet his mainstream success made him a target, especially among hardcore hip-hop purists, who accused him of selling out. For all the criticism and challenges, Hammer remained steadfast. His street cred, loyalty, and resilience proved that beneath the bright smile and crowd-pleasing moves was a man who wouldn't be underestimated. Something even industry titans like Jay-Z and Redman learned firsthand. MC Hammer's reputation as both an entertainer and a street-savvy individual was solidified by his ability to command respect. As Redman once recalled, Hammer didn't tolerate any disrespect, especially when it came to his family. During their Yo MTV Raps encounter, Redman quickly shifted gears when Hammer addressed his earlier comments about his mother. Red's response was humble. "Yo Hammer man, you was big. Look, I ain't got no beef with you, my dude. You a OG. I'm a young cat." It was a moment of peacemaking, driven by Hammer's firm yet composed demeanor. She said. Redman didn't mince words about Hammer's duality, stating, "Ninjas think Hammer's a sucker. Hammer don't play. He dances, he's athletic, but he'll whoop a ninja's ass." This blend of charisma and toughness made Hammer an undeniable force in the industry, earning both admiration and caution from his peers. In the early 90s, Hammer wasn't just a hip-hop star, he was dominating the scene. Yet his reign wasn't without its share of competition and drama, particularly in the vibrant Oakland hip-hop landscape. Acts like Digital Underground, Too Short, and Hammer himself were all achieving platinum success between 1990 and 1991, proving Oakland's cultural influence on the genre. However, shared hometown roots didn't eliminate tension. A notable rivalry existed between Hammer and Too Short, adding a layer of complexity to Oakland's booming hip-hop scene. Despite the shared successes, the competitive nature of the industry often sparked friction, as each artist sought to carve out their legacy. Hammer's ability to navigate both the music world and street politics solidified his legacy as more than just a performer. He was a multifaceted figure, a showman who could light up a stage, and a street-savvy individual who demanded respect.
People used to test them a little bit, see if he was a dancing Hammer. I've heard people tell stories like they caught the wrath of MC Hammer.
Rivalry between MC Hammer and Too Short was emblematic of the competitive nature of hip-hop during the late 80s and early 90s. Too Short, frustrated by Hammer's rising media attention, often used his tracks to throw lyrical jabs at Hammer. During an interview on Questlove Supreme, Too Short reflected on Oakland's burgeoning hip-hop scene and the social dynamics that intertwined their lives. Despite overlapping circles and mutual connections, Too Short admitted he didn't know Hammer personally back then. He described Hammer as a local legend, known for his electrifying dance routines alongside a partner named Ace, captivating clubgoers with their synchronized moves. Too Short's initial perception of Hammer was dismissive, seeing him more as a dancer than a rapper. A pivotal moment occurred when Short encountered Hammer rolling deep with bodyguards and an entourage of about 20 people. Someone nearby asked who Hammer was, and Short, feeling confident in his own reputation, shrugged it off dismissively. It wasn't until Hammer's hit Let's Get It Started that Too Short realized he'd underestimated him. Despite Hammer's undeniable talent and success, Too Short wasn't a fan of his flashy persona. He criticized Hammer for what he perceived as prioritizing image over authenticity, saying, "He became more famous for acting famous, and then the music came with it." Short's disdain for this approach inspired him to take shots at Hammer in his music. In his track Short But Funky, he rapped, "You never catch me on the mic rapping a dance tune / I like it kind of mellow, with the sound of the bass boom." Short wasn't alone in his critique. Other artists like LL Cool J and Third Base also targeted Hammer in their diss tracks. However, despite the verbal sparring, the animosity remained largely confined to the music. Too Short admitted there was no real friction between them, as they shared mutual friends who kept the peace. Nevertheless, Hammer's larger-than-life persona and meteoric rise continued to spark tension, reflecting the challenges of balancing success, respect, and authenticity in the rapidly growing hip-hop industry.
Hands came about in 1978 during the disco era. In my city, one of the hot things was suits from the 40s and 50s.
Turning point in the feud came when MC Hammer's older brother, Louis Burrell, stepped in to de-escalate the tension. Aware of the heated exchanges between Too Short and Hammer's camp, Louis confronted Short and his crew with a sobering reminder. He explained that Hammer's team had just endured the grueling pressures of touring, compounded by the tragic loss of a team member's life. Louis made it clear, "Bro, we are not coming home to this BS. We're not." That reality check was enough to put things into perspective. Too Short and Hammer's rivalry, which had been fueled by competition and ego, was squashed before it could escalate into something more damaging. From that moment on, the animosity dissolved, and what had once been a clash of egos transformed into an unexpected bond. The two artists went from rivals to collaborators, setting an example of how respect and understanding could bridge even the deepest divides in the competitive world of hip-hop.
I think that was probably where our whole little unwritten feud, our unadvertised feud kind of just went away.
As the assistant to the owner of the team, whose name was Charles O. Finley, and I was made the youngest executive vice president in America. I went on ABC's Kids Are People Too when I was 16. I had been there already for about 4 years.
We're going to set it up where I want to battle you, and I want to get the glove. The glove would be like the prize.
Right, like the passing of the torch, maybe?
Well, no.
Something like
MC
that.
Hammer's journey is a testament to resilience, ambition, and relentless hustle. His story begins in East Oakland, where life was anything but easy. Raised in a tough neighborhood by a single mother after his parents split, Hammer faced challenges that could have derailed his dreams. Yet, a promise to his mother to rise above his circumstances fueled his drive. From a young age, Hammer's entrepreneurial spirit set him apart. As a child, he flipped tickets at Oakland A's games and turned parking lots into dance stages with his boombox. His talent caught the attention of Oakland A's owner Charles Finley, who offered Hammer a clubhouse assistant job at just 9 years old. Hammer soaked up every lesson, rising to the position of vice president by his teens. His nickname Hammer came courtesy of A's star Reggie Jackson, who saw a resemblance to baseball legend Hank Aaron, the Hammer. That moniker would become an integral part of his identity. When Hammer transitioned to music, he brought the same energy and showmanship he'd honed with the A's. His debut, Let's Get It Started, wasn't just an album, it was a full-blown performance. Determined to stand out in hip-hop, Hammer embraced a polished mainstream vibe, even when it clashed with the genre's grittier image. After high school, Hammer tried college but realized it wasn't his path. He enlisted in the Navy, where he earned an honorable discharge and spent his downtime creating music. Following his military service, Hammer joined a gospel hip-hop group called the Holy Ghost Boys, blending spirituality with performance. Hammer's music career took off, with help from 2 former Oakland A's players, who believed in his vision. With their financial support, he launched his label, Busted Productions, which later became Busted Records. As an independent artist, he released Feel My Power in 1987, selling over 600,000 copies. A remarkable feat for a grassroots effort.